Did a second colossus spawn in, or was that the first one again? There's a magma worm. He's doing alright. It's a while before we're going to start getting the electrified magma worms, which are the really dangerous ones. Hey, there we go. There's a bitter root. That's a big HP buff. That gives us, it's just a straight up 8% HP increase. And that's a tier 1 item, which means it's the most common item. So we'll see those quite a lot as the game goes on. If you can't get an infusion early, a couple of those bitter roots can be very vital to success. The spike strip is kind of a weak item. Drop a thing on the ground, if the enemy touches it, it might slow them down a little bit. But there's no bad items in this game. There's items that you maybe don't want to pick up in place of other items. Like there's items you'd rather not get when you compare to something really powerful, like the charge field generator or the infusion or something like that. But there's no bad items in the game, and that's one thing that kind of sets it apart from other types of roguelites. Is... Where's that blighted Wispat? I don't even see him. Ah, His Majesty's back. Another spike strip, you don't say. He dropped a soldier's syringe. Excellent. Attack speed up. Woo! And there's another colossal neural, which is just a straight up increase in stats. Woo! Good items. Other roguelites, like the Binding of Isaac is an excellent example of a roguelike that does this, is not only are there bad items in the Binding of Isaac, but there are items that you really have to think about taking just in general, because Binding of Isaac is not really about putting together a build that you are survivable in. The Binding of Isaac is more about making decisions on whether or not, every time you come across an item, to pick that item up or not. And that makes it a very different sort of game from this. Where in Risk of Rain, if you see an item, you basically always want to pick it up. There's never a point in Risk of Rain, if you just see an item on the ground, you never want to say, oh, I don't want to pick that item up. You're never in that position. I just got a second infusion. Alright, whatever. I don't even think infusion stacks, but fair enough. Actually, I'm sure it does. I think all the items in this game do stack. I just don't know how it stacks. And there's a burning witness, and that sets fire to something somehow, but I forget precisely how it works. That's the, any item with a yellow outline is the special boss item from that particular boss. So the burning witness is the boss item from the magma worm. The colossal neural is the boss item from the colossus. Scavenger here is about to get bugged. Enjoy those. I'm going to get him from way back here, because I do not want him launching stuff at us. He dropped a red whip. That's a speed up, but only if I don't hit my attack button. There's a second scavenger. We'll deal with him with bugs too, I think. What's my cooldown at the moment? What was that, about 10 seconds? We can do better than that. So there we got Bustling Fungus and another Colossal Neural. Beautiful. We should probably take care of this Scavenger now. I mean, he'll just die of his own accord eventually, I think. The problem is he's kind of scary to be real close to, so if we hit him with the bugs, that's probably the best way to take care of him. There's another... It's just Scavenger City up here right now. They fire this really scary electricity attack, and I don't have any jump. Like, I don't have any items that help me jump, which makes dodging that sort of thing much, much dicier. I guess we'll just take this last 15 minutes or so that I'm in this level and just kind of get all back on the subject of roguelites. Are you guys even aware that I'm saying roguelites instead of roguelike? because there are two different genres of game. Roguelites with a T are a type of roguelike that don't have permanency. As opposed to something like NetHack, which is my personal favorite roguelike. Every run is... What was that, a crossbar and a fire shield right there? Cool. Every run in NetHack is independent. There's no... You can't unlock something in one run that helps you in your next run, except for bone files. But bone files, that's kind of a tricky wicket. Like, there's a lot to get into there. There's my crit glasses, finally. Crit glasses, sometimes I will do extra damage. It's just a chance to do critical hits. Good item for the Huntress, because she puts out so many attacks, and every attack has the potential to be a critical hit. And another pair of crit glasses. Those do stack. I think they stack up to like 14 or something. But I really want to see some more small enigmas is what I want to see. I don't think they'll drop if I have the boogers equipped. Which is why I keep picking the Artifact of Mystery back up. Maybe that's not true, but I don't want to chance it. Once we reach 60 minutes in this level, one way or the other, we'll be ready to go. I should not be going so far away from my kill floor for a couple of items that are not super useful. But I'm greedy and I want all the items that I can possibly get. So there's that. There's that. Whew. So a roguelite with a T is a roguelike that has persistence in the runs. Some kind of permanency. You unlock items. What was that? Predatory Instinct? Oh, now whenever I do get a crit, my attack speed goes up for a few seconds. Which eventually my crit will be at 100% after I get enough of those crit glasses, so that's an excellent thing to get. Cool, I froze both of those wisps before they did much of anything to me. Get the bugs back out. What's that over there? The change purse? I forget what this does. Is this just enemies drop more gold? Yeah, enemies drop more gold. Oh, that wasn't even the first one of those that we had. We'd already had those before. The real test, of course, will be when we get to level 4, and can we survive the cremator. So I'm sure level 4 will spawn many, many cremators, and I really... Maybe we should stay on this level until we have some kind of verticality. Because there's randomness in when monsters spawn and whether those monsters are elites. But the actual type of monsters are fixed based on what level you're on. Like, level 1 will only spawn the kind of monsters we've been seeing so far, the Lemurians and the Wisps and such. And as we go further in levels, it gets scarier and scarier as far as what kind of monsters will spawn in. Took a big hit there. Okay. Maybe you can see the damage deficit of the Huntress now. Hey, look, some more bugs. Now I got my choice of 2 bugs to pick up. One of them's going to disappear eventually, though. One of them's going to disappear eventually. There's some more crit glasses down there. Some gasoline, which means monsters can be lit on fire now. Yeah, you know what? I think to be safe, we will not leave this level. I was going to leave it 60 minutes, but let's stay on this level until we have some kind of verticality. Like a double jump or a rusty jetpack. Something to make me able to leave the ground more often. More crit glasses. We got 4 of those now. Come here, you. Probably one of my favorite bosses in the game, the Magma Worm. They are just so satisfying to kill. So very satisfying. These goat hooves we're stacking up just increase our running speed. We have quite a few of those now. It's pretty nice. But you see what I mean, is I want some verticality. The more time you spend on the ground, the more time you're in a lot of danger of taking a lot of damage. That's where the most damaging monsters can hit you, is on the ground. And more crit glasses over there. We'll take care of this blight, and we'll go over and pick those up. I have 300 hours or so in this game, I think. You know, we're going to pick up the dice, just to say that I have them. And that's that. Yeah, see, my other bugs vanished because I never picked them up and traded them out. Yeah, 300 hours, I think I said when I started up today, I have in this game. Which is quite a lot of time, and I've only got like 100 hours total in all of the different versions of The Binding of Isaac that I've played. The original, and then the Wrath of the Lamb expansion, and then the remake, Isaac Rebirth. I think I've got less than 100 total played, or maybe a little over 100. I'm not really sure. It's been a while since I've checked. But that's the big difference between this game and The Binding of Isaac. Isaac is all about deciding whether it's feasible to pick up an item you just saw, or whether you should skip it. And you reach a point in Isaac where you've unlocked so much stuff that the answer is almost always to skip it. Like, there's so many... First of all, there's bad items in Isaac. There's items that are just bad. And second of all, there are items that can totally wreck your build. Like, items that are good, but only if you have certain other items to go with it. We just picked up a Leeching Seed, which is another healing item. Now it'll heal every time I hit monsters. Probably the best healing item for the Huntress to get, because she hits so quickly. Especially since now my whole killing floor up here is pretty much filled with war banners. It's a pretty beautiful thing. Although I'm having trouble seeing where my ropes are. There's so many dead colossi up here. Would you say they're in the shadow of the Colossus, Brickroad? Why, yes. Yes, I would say that. Thank you for asking. I haven't actually seen a small enigma in a little while. But we really need to see some kind of verticality. I would prefer a Hopo Feather to get a double jump, but either kind of jetpack would be alright. Either kind of jetpack would be good. That's another kind of healing item, the Mysterious Vial. That just increases the rate at which my regular HP regeneration, like just the standard HP regeneration, works. So there's lots of different ways to heal in this game, and some are better for some characters than others. And like I said, with the Huntress, it's always my preference to get defense items instead. And we've got a couple defense items. We've got some of those Colossal Knurls, which increase defense a little bit. We've got... Did we pick up the teddy bear? I don't think we have a teddy bear, and I don't want to check down there because I've got to take my eyes off the action on screen here. Oh, Infusion was the other one. Just giving us a pool of HP to have to plow through before we can be killed is a big deal. The other one that we can look for is called the Guardian Heart, which actually gives us a damage shield. A 60-point damage shield. So being one-shot is totally impossible. You can't be one-shot. The worst that can happen is your damage shield gets taken away from you, and then you have to wait a few seconds for it to recharge. And that's the other way you can increase your hit points. Every time you pick up a Guardian Heart, you get 60 more hit points. He dropped a knife. Your buddy here dropped another knife. Yeah, I have not seen a small enigma in a little while. And I definitely haven't seen any verticality. I'm not sure. Like, it would be really dicey to leave this level at this point without any kind of verticality. We're going to have to get lucky and wait for one to drop. Let me think. How chancy do I want to be with this? We've just been getting unlucky with the small enigmas for a minute. I mean, we got 14 of them. And our cooldown's not terrible. But it's not super broken low. There's one over there. There's a small enigma right there. At the top of this rope, we can get one. Hooah! Let's see what our cooldown is now. We got just war banners all over the place. What was that, like 10 seconds? One thing we don't have that we could use is we don't have any frost relics yet. Now what do we at? 'Cause we pick up another one. Now we're at looks like just over 10 seconds. Every one you pick up lowers your cooldown by a fraction of a second, but you can only see the cooldowns in increments of 1 full second. Bladed Wisp, drop crit glasses. What a bro. Total bro. I think those stack up to 14, if I'm remembering correctly. They actually haven't patched this game since I'd done my last Let's Play of it. In fact, I don't think they patched the game since they added the Loader and Chef classes, to be honest. Yeah, teleport behind me, Blighted Sand Crab. That's exactly what we want. That made my life a lot easier, because then my shots were going that direction and hitting the guys behind you. You basically betrayed your team there. They all hate you now. You're no longer invited to anybody's birthday party. In fact, going through my history with The Binding of Isaac, when it first came out, I actually didn't like the game at all. I thought the game was way too random. There was a lot of items in the game that were just bad, and there wasn't a lot you could do at that time to kind of create your own luck, to create decision points that would be helpful for you. The Wrath of the Lamb expansion, like, it added a bunch of new items and stuff, but it also added a lot of decision points. Like, it added a lot of ways for you to make your own luck. It didn't make the game super powerful, but you were able to leverage the knowledge you had in the game a lot better than you could in the base game. So your run was no longer just, oh, you either learn how to dodge properly, and like Isaac, every run is winnable. I think every single Isaac run is actually winnable, but some are just miserable. In the original Binding of Isaac, before that first expansion came out, some runs of that game are just miserable, because if you don't get good items, you're just doomed to have this really just long, tedious run where you're constantly on the verge of death, and every boss fight takes forever, and it's 1,000 shots to your one. I got stomped on. I was telling a Binding of Isaac story and not paying attention to what I'm doing. I think we're okay now. We got a minute now. But yeah, they put out Wrath of the Lamb, and it didn't make the game easier. What it did was just put in more decision points, more X factors, more like just little nuggets of knowledge that you could leverage if you knew what you were doing to just create your own luck in ways that you could not in the base game. Shooting the wrong way there. There's another goat hoof. Alright, so the goat hooves are kind of real now. You see my walking speed is way better than it was, and I do not want my Enigma machine up here to despawn, so we'll go snap that back up. And there was a small Enigma sitting on top of it. That must have dropped, though, while I had my... You know what? I'm going to just pick this up. I think we're just going to pick this up, because I think small Enigma... Yeah, we dropped another one. Oh, I had the Enigma equipped when that happened, though. Did I? I don't know. I'm not really paying. I'm too busy thinking about Binding of Isaac now. But that's the... That's the trend they continued when they released Rebirth, when they did the Binding of Isaac remake. Was this trend of... Hey, there we go. Ceremonial Dagger. And every time we kill a monster, it'll fire off little bolts of spirit energy. And just get better and better from there. So you'll see little purple bolts flying all over the screen now. Shoutouts to Jordy Bear for sponsoring this video, and to everybody who helps make my channel possible by supporting me on Patreon.